Welcome. This is Concordia on Air. We're your hosts. My name is Joshua White.
And I'm Trisha Tower. Coming up on today's show,
in news, coming out week.
In sports, men and women's cross country.
On A&E, the zombie run.
All that and more, so stay tuned. So yeah, welcome to today's show. It's probably been our second showing so far. Everything's still kind of getting the cycle and just fresh. And I just wanted to ask, like, how is it being a freshman, just leaving high school and just being in this new environment?
well, I definitely say it's a lot different than high school. I think the thing that I've noticed the most is time management. They were not kidding in high school when they said you're going to have to manage your time well. I would say that I'm doing an okay job so far. Last night I stayed up till about 1:30 just talking to all the girls on my floor, so that was a bad decision because this morning came way too fast. But I definitely say that it's really important to manage your time well. I mean, with all managing getting the studies in and everything, so I'd say that's a big difference because you're really in charge of yourself instead of having like distinct times for everything.
Yeah, definitely. Like in high school, I probably my first year in college, my freshman year, I probably done more than all 4 years of high school.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely busy. And I'd say again, like with the classes, they're definitely, I think, more challenging, but I'm really enjoying them a lot more because they're a lot discussion based rather than lecture. And I think it's really interesting to see like different people's perspectives. I feel like in high school, we're all trying to be cool and like not really say our opinion. But in college, I've noticed that people are very upfront with their opinion, and it's interesting to see everybody's different views, definitely. And then another thing that I've noticed in college is obviously the independence. It was definitely a transition going from checking in with my parents all the time, asking for permission. So it's definitely different being in charge of yourself.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, I've definitely been, I mean, you kind of find your place in college, I think, definitely. But I think what's interesting, too, is, like, there's not really cliques here. I really like that. Like, just everybody's really friends. Like, you kind of have your thing that you're doing, but everyone's super friendly. So I love that.
Yeah, like, there's so many people from just all parts of the world. So I think that we're just all trying to get to know each other, trying to get some of that stuff brushed on us, and just to grow, you know? That's what it's been.
Definitely, yeah. So, how is it being a senior now that you've heard about being a freshman?
Well, I'll save that to the end of the show.
Okay.
Now over to the news.
Good evening and welcome to news. I'm Rachel Hogan.
And I'm Jocelyn Horozdowski. This week is Concordia's annual Coming Out Week, hosted by the Straight and Gay Alliance, or SAGA, on campus. They are sponsoring many different events to raise awareness and inform students and staff about the group and their friends on campus. Monday, SAGA set up many activities in the atrium to gain interest, and last night marched at the Take Back the Night event at the Bell Tower for Violence Awareness Day. Tonight, there is a Coming Out Week panel discussion in the King Intercultural Center at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, you can catch a movie there at 9 p.m. for Transsexual Awareness Day. Friday is Hug an Ally Day. To show your support in other ways, Love is Love t-shirts, V-necks, and snapback hats will be sold for $10 at the SAGA booth in the atrium. And you can get your picture taken there with an encouraging message as well.
When a Concordia College student thinks of North Dakota, oftentimes we think of our neighbors, the NDSU Bison, the Badlands, or just the overall scenic state of what seems to be a peaceful place to live. However, a small town called Leith has been anything but peaceful in the last months. Recently, a self-proclaimed white supremacist, Craig Cobb, has been buying land and scheming to plan a change in a town somewhere between 17 and 24 residents into a haven for the National Socialist Movement, which is the largest white supremacist and neo-Nazi group in the United States, essentially making the town into a white supremacy town. However, according to Concordia student Anna Hertler, this isn't necessarily an uncommon thing for that area in North Dakota. A Dickinson resident herself, she states the area has a lot of racial issues, and even in my hometown of Dickinson, you can see signs of it, like Confederate and Nazi flags. 2 weekends ago, Craig hosted key members of the NSM in Leith, and people became outraged. Both protesters and law enforcement showed up upon their visit. No one is quite sure what will happen, but there is talk of diminishing Leith in its entirety to avoid the all-white town coming about. But for now, all we can do is be aware of the issues and continue to listen for updates.
In order to honor and remember those who lost their lives to intimate partner violence, Concordia students participated in Take Back the Night, a nationally recognized event sponsored by the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center in Fargo. Throughout the day, students were able to pick up buttons, contribute to the reflection piece, and sign up to march later that evening to Island Park. A group of Concordia students was able to get to the rally later that evening, where they heard a story of survival and learned what they could do to prevent sexual violence in the future. More than 100 people from the FM community came to the event. The Rape and Abuse Crisis Center hopes to get even more people to the rally next year to show their support. We'll hear more about the event from Michael Chambers later in the broadcast.
Author and refugee Anna Turcotte came to Concordia to speak about her book, Nowhere: A Story of Exile, an Armenian refugee originally from Azerbaijan and later Armenia during the aftermath of the Armenian genocide. She was granted United States refugee status and ended up living in Wahpeton, North Dakota for the first few years of her life in America. She now resides in Maine with her husband and 2 children. Originally, she wrote her book, as she states, a family book to pass on what happened to me to my children. But what once started with a 10-year-old's diary has now become a bestseller and has recently won Turcotte an equivalent to the United States Medal of Honor in Armenia. If you're interested in her books, are available online on Amazon.com or in select stores across the country.
Concordia students are known to become responsibly engaged in the world through their hard work, dedication to their studies, and happy Cotter attitude. Tomorrow is National Student Day, and the bookstore is showing their support for the students by sponsoring a TikTok Beat the Clock sale. At noon tomorrow, they will be selling a select style of sweatpants for only $14.99 until supplies run out. In addition, the bookstore will have information on volunteering opportunities in the FM area, and all discounted and clearance items will be an additional 20% off. Students are also eligible to enter a drawing for a secret, pre-selected prize from the bookstore. Keep up the great work, Cobbers, and enjoy the sale.
If you're looking for an alternative to dining services or the maze, West Acre Mall recently received a new chain restaurant that opened last week. Panera Bread just opened right outside the Fargo Mall location with both a dining-in and rare drive-through option. This bakery cafe chain's menu offers anything from soups and salads to bagels and other bakery items with literally something for everyone. The company itself started in 1981 in St. Louis, Missouri, and has since expanded to over 1,652 company or franchised-owned locations, reaching out to 44 out of the 50 states and recently even to Canada. So the next time you want a sweet treat with friends or a fun Saturday afternoon lunch date for that special someone, check out the Panera. That's all from news this evening. Now we'll check back in with our hosts.
All right, I'm back with hosting an interview with Michael Chambers. Now, Michael, tell me a little about Take Back the Night.
Well, my involvement with Take Back the Night, I am the Programs and Events Commissioner for Student Government, and so the Fargo Rape and Abuse Crisis Center reached out to us because Concordia had involvement with Take Back the Night in the past, as did MSUM and NDSU. But those 2 colleges broke off and started doing their own event, and Concordia just kind of fell off the map. So the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center reached back out to us and asked if we'd be interested in participating again. And so what I did, along with the Campus Service Commissioner, Mariah Nelson, we got together, we went to meetings with our advisors and with representatives from the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center and talked about how we could get Concordia involved with it. So we organized for a group of us to march down to Island Park from campus so we could all travel together and make it easier for students to get there and participate in the event.
Now, why should students be aware of this issue?
Domestic violence and sexual abuse are something that is not only just present in the community, but it can also happen on campus. It's not an issue that really any area is particularly free of. And so since it's such a present issue, we need to raise awareness about it if we want to make a difference about it. And the first step to making a difference about something is the awareness. So I believe that the march really succeeded in instilling that this is a problem and that we would like to see it gone.
Mm-hmm. And how did it affect the community?
It was really good to see the community involvement with it. We obviously made an impact screaming and holding signs down Broadway. We've got some looks about it, and we've got people asking about it and showing support, from their shop windows or from the cars or marching down the street. So seeing people involved with it and also just allowing campus to be aware of the issue and bringing members of campus to the event also had an impact on the community.
Great. And how did it go overall, do you think?
I thought it was fantastic. We had a really great turnout. Cobbers had a really strong presence in it. And the Fargo Rape and Abuse Crisis Center was so grateful to have us back. They were really excited to see so many college students there, and that really we are the future, so the change starts with us. And I believe that we really showed the Fargo-Moorhead area that we are here and we're ready to make a difference.
Awesome. So what do you think was the most important factor of being there?
I believe we had a survivor story of a college-age student was recapping her sexual abuse story. And so I think that really helped with realizing that this can happen to anyone. This happens to people that are college students, and this happens to your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your neighbors. It really can happen to everyone. So I believe that had a large impact on the people that were there.
All right, well, thank you so much for your interview.
Thank you.
Let's run over to Ashley and Jeremy with the news.
Well, welcome to sports. My name is Ashley Thompson.
I'm Jeremy Pierce. The men's cross-country team's performance at the Roy Griak Invite was the best in Concordia history. Concordia finished 16th, which is 4 places higher than the last 2 years that Concordia has competed at the Roy Griak. Ryan Cedarquist finished 35th place out of 300 runners with a time of 27:14. He was the 3rd best out of the MIAC runners. Ryan's training regimen includes running 100 miles a week. Concordia's freshman runners made a strong appearance at the invite. Carl Wallen and Matthew Lillehaugen made the top 100. Lillehaugen with a time of 2:28:12 in 68th, and Wallen with a 28:48. Ethan Spittle, coming back from a leg injury, was the team's number 6 runner with a 30:05. The men's cross-country team heads to Jamestown Invite on next October 11th.
It's been 2 weeks now, but the Cobber ladies on the cross-country team are up and running once again. This weekend, they also ran at the U of M for the Roy Griak Invitational. The meet is one of the largest in the nation and hosts 10 races throughout the day. Leading the way for the Cobbers this weekend was none other than Morgan Christian. That makes 2 in a row for her. She was followed by Melissa Arich and Hannah Knickerbocker, all finishing within 17 seconds of each other and placing in the top 125. Both Christian and Knickerbocker are recovering from injuries, but with these results, it's clear that there's nothing stopping them. However, as much as cross-country is an individual sport, it is a team sport as well. Even with the injuries some team members have experienced, the ladies use a pack mentality to crush 11 other teams. Way to go, ladies, and see you in Jamestown on October 11th.
The Concordia football team is on a roll with a 4-0 record. The team took on St. John and won 24-14. This was the first time that the football team has beat St. John in a back-to-back season since 1980-81. Griffin Neal threw for 186 yards with 2 touchdowns and only 1 interception. All 3 touchdowns came in the first half. First came from a 25-yard throw to Neal to John Bound when he ran 60 yards, averaging 30 yards per carry. Second score was a setup by a 38-yard pass to Mark Whitting and a 1-yard run by Cooper Goldlin. The third and final touchdown came from an amazing catch by Brandon Zylstra in the very back of the end zone. This marked Brandon's 4th straight game scoring at least 1 touchdown. Concordia scored 1 field goal by Benjamin Wagner in the 3rd quarter. The Cobbers take on Bethel for the homecoming game on October 12th.
Is it any surprise that the volleyball team enjoyed sweet success again this weekend? On Saturday, the girls played the St. Mary Cardinals, and despite a little scare from the home team leading 2-1, the ladies brought it back and ultimately won 3-2. The team has now won 6 of their last 7 matches and has yet to lose in MIAC play. Kendall Ross had another solid performance, setting a team high of 14 winners, while Kayla Hampton set the bar for hitting with .333. Kelly Reed upped her game as well with a season high of 7 blocks. The team is getting ready to test their winning streak against St. Kate's tonight at 7 p.m. Knock on wood, but it looks like they have a pretty good shot.
The women's soccer team Winning streak came to an unfortunate end on Saturday when they fell to St. Olaf. They lost 2-1 in an overtime, making their record 3-1-0. Concordia chased the ball around for most of the game until St. Olaf scored early in the first half. Midfielders Marta Prozinski and Jamie St. Germain helped control the midfield and made a couple shots on the goal, but none made it in. In the second half, Elizabeth Robinson continued her hot scoring streak, equalizing the score to 1-1. That was her third goal in the last 2 games. Throughout the rest of the games, the teams ran back and forth, eventually getting into overtime and then double overtime when St. Olaf finally scored. The ladies take on Augsburg and Minneapolis today.
It was too much too late for the men's soccer team at home against St. Olaf this weekend. The Cobbers stuck it out like real men on Saturday in a field full of wet mud from the continuous rain and had a steady first half that seemed intense yet promising as the teams remained at 0-0. However, even with a good shot by senior Brett Wegleitner in the second half, the Cobs stayed at 0 and the Olies came back with 2 goals after the first 10 minutes. While the men were outshot 13-1, senior Peter Rundquist did manage to save 11. The team has had a rough few last games, but is hoping for better results as they take on Augsburg tonight. Good luck to them. Let's send it back to our hosts.
All right, I'm back with Colin Sullivan, a member of Saga. Please tell us a little bit about what Saga is.
Yeah, absolutely. Saga is the Straight and Gay Alliance here on campus. So the main objectives of the group is we meet every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 in the King Intercultural Center. And we discuss basically the issues surrounding the LGBTQ community, be that in the greater Fargo-Moorhead community, specifically here on campus, or global issues that are happening. So just trying to raise awareness.
Great. Can you tell us a little about what National Coming Out Week is? I heard it's coming up soon, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually in the midst of National Coming Out Week this week. National Coming Out Week is an opportunity for Saga to host a week-long series of events that basically explain and show to students on campus that the process of coming out is one that is difficult and is one that requires a lot of courage and a lot of strength, but that they're in an environment that's very supportive of them. So we really try to plan events and activities around that.
Cool. What does this personally mean to you?
I think for me, coming here as a freshman, I knew right away that Concordia was a really accepting environment. And so as a self-identified gay man, I really felt as though it was my duty to kind of give back to the LGBTQ community here at Concordia and show other students that this is a safe place to be and that this is a campus community that loves you just the way you are.
Now, has this been going on for a couple years, or is it just starting?
No, actually, this is the 3rd or 4th year that we've been having a National Coming Out Week. So,
what makes this year different than the other previous years?
Awesome. Yeah, we have some different merchandise that we're selling this year. Not only do we have the crew neck Love is Love shirts, but we have V-necks and snapbacks this year. So all of that stuff's $10. You certainly can't afford to miss any of that. We're also hosting a Trans Awareness Day for the transgender community members here on Concordia's campus. There's not as many of the trans population, but doesn't mean that we shouldn't be aware of the issues they face. And our Friday is a Hug and Ally Day, so we're pretty thankful for those people that we have, the support unit that we have, so we wanted to celebrate them as well.
So can you go in depth about why we have a Hug and Ally Day?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people were saying that it's a little controversial that we're not celebrating the people within the LGBTQ community on that day, but Geneva and I, the other co-president of Saga, really wanted to say and make it known that we were so appreciative of the people on this campus who put time and energy into a cause that's not even necessarily theirs to fight. So they're not facing the discrimination, they're not dealing with that stuff, but they're still on the front lines working to make sure that we feel included. And so those people deserve a big hug. So expect that my arms will be wrapped around you at some point on Friday.
Yes. Now, what is your goal of being a member of the Saga this week?
What's the goal of the whole organization?
Yeah.
I guess the goal that we have is to make sure that every student on this campus knows that regardless of how you feel about LGBTQ issues or gay marriage or anything like that, that you're really included here and that you're welcome here, and we just want to start that dialogue.
All right. Well, speaking of my grades, C Factor is up next with Mike and Lisa on A&E.
Welcome to A&E. I'm Lisa Upman.
And I'm Mike Wilson.
Friday, the Concordia Entertainment Center hosted an evening of music, talent, and entertainment, Concordia's own C Factor. In the end, it was Ellie Beeson who got the most votes and won the whole thing. With her soulful and absolutely gorgeous a cappella song, Storyteller, She showed us all just how much you can do with a big voice and the occasional stomp of the foot. If you can't get enough of Ellie's voice, then tune into her radio show on Cord Radio every Monday from 10 to 11.
What's good for your body and social life at the same time? Dancing, but not just any old dance. I'm talking salsa. This week, Intercultural Affairs hosted a tea house with dance instructor Edwin from the Salsa Dance Club of Fargo-Moorhead. The afternoon started with the history behind salsa, and then dance lessons were full in effect right after. Edwin went through the basics, and by the end, attendees were doing salsa and merengue. Edwin holds classes on Tuesdays at West Fargo High School for those interested.
On Thursday, October 3rd, members of the Concordia community will have the opportunity to watch the critically acclaimed documentary film Chasing Ice. The film screening is scheduled for 7 p.m. in the Centrum, and it will be followed by a panel discussion and audience Q&A. Chasing Ice is a powerful film depicting visually stunning footage of melting glaciers captured with the help of time-lapse photography over several years. The film draws our attention to some of the most spectacular consequences of global warming as they unfold before our eyes. Given Concordia's emphasis on brew, this will be your chance to reflect on the question, how can we become responsibly engaged in a warming world?
Ever wonder what it'd be like if campus was invaded by zombies? Well, students will experience this firsthand in CEC's very first zombie run on Saturday, October 5th. Participants will run a designated course throughout campus, starting at the bell tower. And be careful not to get caught by zombies or you will become one of them. This is an event you don't want to miss, and participants can register to be zombies as well as runners at the CEC webpage. Make sure to hurry and register because the first 100 to do so get a free Zombie Run t-shirt.
Homecoming is coming up, guys, and what's homecoming without kings and queens and nominees? Well, just a football game, I suppose, and where's the fun in that? Here are this year's homecoming royalty. Queen candidates: Carly Granner, Caitlin Hannigan, Molly Lackman, Mariah Nelson, Geneva Nemzek. King candidates: Eli Allgood, Levi Bachmeyer, Matt Dymock, Dylan Jones, and Colin Sullivan. Queen nominee Caitlin Hannigan has this to say about the nomination. I was super surprised and never saw it coming, but I feel very thankful and special. I really love my school and I'm just really happy I get to be a part of the experience. Also, if I win the crown, it will be an awesome Horcrux. All campus voting for the King and Queen will continue through Friday, October 4th.
If you haven't caught on to the Vine hype, you have surely been hiding under a rock. But I'm here to catch you up with this week's Top 5 Vines Animal Edition. Our first Vine today, coming in at number 5, is titled Pure Happiness, involving a dog, a baby, and Bubbles. Aww. Next is number 4, titled They See Me Rollin', with one dog making way through a crowd of others. Coming in at number 3, we have My Dog Can Laugh, and this title speaks for itself. In our number 2 spot, we have a pretty cool dog trick titled My Favorite Trick.
Stella, you want to go bang?
And our number 1 puts the phrase scaredy cat in perspective. This one's titled Boo. And that's all for our Top 5 Vines Animal Edition. I hope you enjoyed. And now we'll go over to our hosts, Josh and Trisha.
All right, now earlier we heard all about what it was like for me to be a freshman, but we still need to hear about what it's like to be a senior.
All right, I'll let you get a little bit of the insight. Just senior year's just been, I just experienced a lot of hard work. I'm from California, so the weather has just made me the man I am today. And yeah, it's just been great because I've experienced and just been so just, I don't know, just explored so many different areas of just how people are and just people being so open and just the activities and organizations here. I've been involved with just like, I don't know, Black Student Union, Bible studies here, Crew, found my faith here. I went on a summer abroad trip.
Oh, that's awesome. I think a lot of underclassmen are really looking forward to doing a study abroad. Could you tell more about your experience or things that you enjoyed on that?
Yes, Concordia really highlights just the going abroad and just experiencing just different cultures. And when I was on my study abroad trip, I went to Italy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was probably one of the most difficult but enjoying moments of my entire life. I'm actually creating a film right now, a small feature, and it's just kind of like, I just wanted my audience to be in first person of what I experienced, not visually, but also visually and also like emotionally and spiritually. So yeah, it was probably the best time I've had in my entire life.
That sounds awesome. I think a lot of people are looking forward to definitely doing that in Concordia.
Yes.
Are there any other pieces of advice you have for underclassmen, other things that we should try, or?
I mean, there's just so much here. People are just so welcoming, and I just think that you should experience as much as you can. Be in all the activities, make the most out of your college experience, because it really is a difficult time, but it's probably one of the best times because you're just finding who you are. So that's probably all we have for today.
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys have a blessed week and catch you guys next week.